Well, hey guys, by the time you watch this video, I'll probably be on my way to the airport in Austin. We're going to be heading out for Denver. Richard Zane here with us. It is TexAgs Rewind, episode 2593. Your favorite episode today?
Yeah, this was my favorite episode of the Rewind today.
Today?
Yes.
So what'd you like about the show?
I like everybody getting the stage set for A&M's trip to Denver facing Colorado. I thought OB had some great points. I thought Laura Rutledge offered some tremendous insight. And then the yelling hour. It's always fun to listen to.
Did you notice there was not a lot of yelling today? Maybe keeping them on remote kind of makes it, kind of calms down the yelling.
Maybe it was the chill vibes up in Colorado.
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of missed the yelling. So as he mentioned, we got the 3 things we want to see this weekend. We are obviously on our way to Colorado. Break that down. Laura Rutledge breaking down A&M as well. And as Richard just said, the final countdown with Steve and Billy on TexAgs Rewind.
Yeah, I'd like to see Haynes King play well, but eliminate the turnovers.
Yep.
Always eliminate turnovers. I would like to see the run defense be really strong. And I was going to say the Demond Demas thing, but since we've already been there, I would really love to see, and I probably won't, but I'd love to see Devon A-Chain return a kickoff or somebody return a kickoff.
Well, let's start there with A-Chain, because I know that's one of the things that if you're going to pick on something, that's one of the things you want to see more of A&M taking it out of the end zone. You want to see them run.
I do. I think, and what if they don't make it out to the 25? Okay, but what's the old saying, no guts, no glory?
You got to think with A-Chain, that speed alone, you're going to get to the 20 at the very least.
You would think, but I just think that's an unusual weapon, and he's just so electric that I can remember. It kind of reminds me of Leland McElroy. A lot of Aggies remember this. I once went to covered a A&M Rice game, and I think it was in '93. It might have been '94. Leland McElroy returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns back to back. A&M had a 14-3 lead, and the offense hadn't gotten on the field yet.
Right.
And then I remember him in '93 returning a kickoff for a touchdown against Texas. He was just such an electrifying guy and such a threat on returns.
A-Chain is that same.
And I think A-Chain can be the same thing, if not more, because A-Chain's even faster than Leland.
Do you think the analytics in sports has kind of changed some of that gambling?
Yeah, I think so. And I understand what Jimbo was getting at last year. He had some young guys returning kicks, and I remember Chase Lane made I think it was in the Vanderbilt game, made a poor decision, and maybe he just said, we're a running team, let's just start at the 25 and go.
Right.
But I also remember him when he had Jayshon Corbin returning a kickoff for a touchdown against Arkansas. So if you've got a chance, that's why I buy lottery tickets. I'm probably not going to win it, but at least I got a chance. So when I got A-Chain back there returning a kick, and maybe he won't make it back to the 25, but I got a chance that he's going to go all the way.
You do have a chance.
Probably a good chance. Better chance than I have of winning the lottery.
So I would say that my 3 things are in the same vein, or at least one of them is, and I'll start off with Haynes, okay? Now, you want to see him cut down the turnovers. We all do, right? I 100% agree with that. But I want to take it a step further.
Okay.
I want to see this guy with design run plays.
Okay.
So last week we saw a little bit of it, right? We saw him scramble. I want to see and let me go ahead and preface this. Not that I have to. I don't want to put him in position to get hurt. I'm not saying that. But I'd like to see that speed on display a couple times where he has a chance to pick up a 30 yards. Maybe it is scrambling. Maybe it's just a design run play. But I want to see him use his feet, get a couple 30-yard runs, How about one 30-yard run in there? And I just want to see those legs put on display.
Yeah. They did have a play last week, right, where it seems like they faked into the line and then they ran an option.
Correct.
It was kind of like the old broken bone.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. I want to see that because we heard the legend of the speed, right? And I think we saw a little bit of, obviously, with the one Johnny play, we saw it. I want to see it more going upfield as opposed to left and right. And by the way, left and right is great, but I just want to see how opposing defenders are trying to stop the speed in Haynes King. So that's one. The other one I want to see is, again, on the same running game conversation, I want another Devon A-Chain special. We know what he did in the Orange Bowl. We know what he did last week. We know what he did against Auburn when he started really getting his numbers. 99 yards in the Auburn game. He had the 76-yard touchdown in the Orange Bowl. He had the 63-yard touchdown in the game against Kent State. I want to see him do that in his last 3 games, averaging 121 yards per game. And last week, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. More of the Devon A-Chain special. I love watching him. It's kind of like what you said about returning kicks. Mm-hmm. Let's see him everywhere. I just want to see more of him.
Yeah, returning punts, running. I'm going to throw. I know you got 2 more, but I'm going to give you one. I got
one
bonus.
more. I just got one more.
I got a bonus. I would love to see a set with A-Chain and Spiller in the backfield at the same time.
Oh, that is such a beautiful idea. I love that idea. The last one I want to see, the Michael Clemens effect.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cyclops.
4.5 sacks last year in 4.5 games, but having another pass rusher next to DeMarvin, to me, is such a luxury because he can disrupt so much, but he's going to see the bulk of the double teams. So having Michael, who we know can attack the quarterback, who's just a specimen of a man, I wouldn't see what that effect has on the rest of the defense. What does it do? Does it help the secondary? Secondary looked pretty salty last week. What does it do for the rest of the line? And what does it do to opposing quarterbacks when they know they've got such an imposing line coming at them from Peavy to Leal to Clemens? I'm excited about seeing what they do there. Yeah. OB, what are you banking on?
I'm banking on it finally happens. I'm thinking on Damon Demas scoring a touchdown this week.
Not just a catch.
No, not just catch. I'm thinking I think it's going to be 40 yards or longer.
Gosh,
I'm banking on it.
I love the way you bank.
Yeah.
You're like Joel Jackson clone.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not banking on it. I'm banking on it.
You're banking it.
I'm Texas banking on it.
There's no G.
No G.
We throw away the G. How would Ed O say that?
We throw away the G. Go Tigers. No, he said, "Oh Tigers," because I'm Coach OB now. Coach OB.
Sorry, I know it's probably too quick to bring that back, but I loved it too much. Hey, I'm going to bank on
sissy blue shirt.
I'm banking on A-Chain going over 100 yards, Spiller going over 100 yards, and Aniyah Smith with 100 yards receiving for the second straight game. I'm banking on those 3. Bring him the heat.
Just throw in the 300-yard passing game, too.
I mean, if you want me to, fine.
100, 100, 100, 300.
Done. And if your thing comes true, if your bank comes true, Demas has part of it, why not 350?
Why not?
We're going to just bank on everything right now?
Hell yeah. I'm banking on everything. I'm trying to think of a bank
Tomas
joke, and I couldn't.
I don't know if you're banking. I don't even know if you're old enough to bank. But do you have any text messages for us before we go to break?
I do. Steven from Big Springs got 3 keys. Dominance on both sides of the line. Establish the run game and stop theirs. 2, more turnovers on defense. And 3, finishing drives with touchdowns. And David, talking about banking on it, I'm banking on some mile-high magic from Haynes King this weekend.
Okay. Please go on.
All this banking. You know, I even moved to an apartment that's on top of a bank.
Really?
So, yeah, now my asset's over $10 million.
Yeah, listen, I agree with that. But I also think when you look at A&M, there's a lot to be excited about. For me, you know, just even seeing, and I realize it's a much lesser opponent, but seeing the defense and the physicality that we expected out of the defense, I think it's going to be such a strength of this team. It's why, you know, they're already ranked 5th, but they can be ranked much higher. I expect them to be right in the mix for the college football playoff once again. I thought Haynes King looked good. He made some mistakes, but listen, he was out there, you know, kind of getting his feet wet, and he just didn't have a lot of experience yet. It's nice the way the schedule works out early on to sort of get him the opportunity at home, get him on the road a little bit, let him sort of get used to that environment. I think one thing that people have forgotten about, and I sort of thought about this as I was watching some of these games over the past weekend, you know, these guys, a lot of them haven't played in front of really any crowd, and definitely not a packed crowd, right? So it's some of the jitters, some of the just getting used to the noise factor and trying to manage that, especially offensively when it comes to communication. I think a lot of those kinks will be worked out this week, next week. You know, some of these teams that have to play big time opponents next week could be in a little bit of trouble early on, but the teams that luck out and don't have to do that until a couple weeks down the road should be able to work out some kinks. So I think there's a lot to be excited about with A&M, and they are such a three-pronged offensive attack with the weapons that a lot of other teams in the SEC can't say that they've got, three legitimate threats, and then you throw in Weidermeyer as well. I mean, there's just so many options offensively for this squad.
And how beneficial to Haynes is that, right? So the pressure's not totally on him. He's got people to go to. And by the way, we haven't even mentioned Caleb Chapman yet, too. Another deep threat.
Right. That's the thing. Like, I think there are so many options there. I think just knowing that you've got Spiller in the run game, there's somebody that you can rely on no matter what to make this offense go. And listen, like, as much as we want to say that offense is now in the SEC or stretch the field and air it out and do all that, yeah, that's true. It's maybe evolved a little bit more than we thought. Although if you watch that Georgia Clemson game, you would maybe say otherwise. But anyway, throughout most of the SEC, it's evolved in a lot of ways, but yet everything is still set and the tone is still set by the run game. And that's where I think A&M has such a key advantage to be able to run the football the way that they can, and also get a young quarterback accustomed to, operating an offense with other guys he can rely on.
Give me the Aggies. I'm calling this about a 42-17 type score.
Woo!
That's how I roll, Billy.
I'm going to go. I picked against the Ags to cover last week and lost somehow. I think we knew that one led off bad beats, which means I made the right pick. I think I'm going to pick against the Ags covering again. When it was over 17, I felt a lot better about it. I think A&M wins by double digits, guys. I just think this is a little more uncomfortable than we'd want it to be. I mean, I think it's a tough early season test. We went through all the reasons. I just don't know if they make that big a jump to travel halfway across the country and just roll out and run a capable team with with quite a bit of experience, actually, out of a stadium not named Kyle Field. I do think they'll get to that point. I think if these teams played later in the year, I like Steve's 42-17 score. But I just think it's a little more competitive and the Ags pull away. I think they'll threaten that spread. It's just, are they going to be up 7 and push it to 14, or are they going to be up 10 and push that thing? I'm going to go with 31-17.
Well, that does it for another installment of TexAgs Rewind. Young Richard, what do we do?
You want to like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to TexAgs on YouTube and TexAgs.com, and you also want to wish David Nuno a very happy birthday.
If you do that on the comments, I will accept it. If you do it elsewhere, I won't accept it. The only way I accept a happy birthday, David, is on
YouTube.
On the what?
Comments.
Thank you. And what are you supposed to do?
Like and subscribe.
Thank you. We'll see you later. Thanks, guys.